welcome back to the Verizon post-game
We got free
interview. Yeah, me and Jet are here with Turtle, Chime, and Solo. Thank you guys for joining us in this like nicely triangulated corner over here. Congratulations on your win. Obviously, I guess the first thing we have to talk about is the Vel'Koz, because it is a known pick for Balulu. How much were you guys expecting that to come out? Because I saw you ban the Zoe.
I kept joking about it that he would pick the Vel'Koz, and then when we picked it...
I saw you laughing on the player.
Yeah, they cut to you and you're just...
No, I was laughing because Boogie kept saying, oh, they picked Bell, man! yeah. He kept... And then in the game, I think he was just like catching on, and he just used Belveth for Vel'Koz like, the entire game. Yeah.
Oh, you knew he was talking about, right? So it's fine.
We got it. We thought about it a little bit, but we haven't played against Vel'Koz like at all, and you would never see this champ. So I was definitely surprised about how much it was doing in the game.
Yeah, we all kind of took turns getting beamed. Like there was one where he got destroyed, then he got destroyed, and I got destroyed too, and we just keep like. And then Boogie's like, guys, stop dying to Belveth or Vel'Koz R. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you talking as you're getting mic'd up. You kind of learned about Vel'Koz a little bit throughout the game, like the angles that he can hold in team fights and how that changed the way they had to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw that in the last fight, like where he was on the map was so strange compared to like most teams will line up in River. And he's like over in blue buff or over in Gromp, having these like weird angles to hit over the walls just because he has so much range. So once we kind of dissected that, it became a lot easier to deal with because it's like, okay, he's going to be in this weird spot, like let's just play around that instead of playing around what you normally do.
One thing I really appreciate about your team in terms of your drafting is you always seem to have this identity around like 5v5 fighting where whatever you pick, your team is going to 5v5. How purposeful is that? And like how would you characterize your team overall?
Oh, I never noticed.
You just got here, it's okay. Were you free hitting, Jason?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that a lot of our pools sync up with champs that team fight well.
Okay.
So I think that's a big thing. I feel like we never go into draft like if we can't team fight, it's doomed. But yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how much I can say.
I guess just the style we like to play is probably more 5v5 oriented, or it kind of becomes that way. I think like initially it's like we're kind of just picking for our own like laning phases. And then when we come together, it's like, wait, our champions are really good at team fight.
Yeah, we have highlights of the game here. It was so back and forth. For a while, I think you guys were down like 5,000 gold. I think it was close to like 3 dragons to 1. But you clutched it out, took like 3 dragons in a row.
I thought we won the game here, but Annie got
Oh, look, wait, no, what happened? Oh, no. Wait, how did Viego like ult when he was hit by my trap, by the way?
Yeah, we'll talk.
Anyone talk about that?
Freak about that.
Did this already happen, or is it coming up?
I just trapped him right there, and then he just ulted out of it.
He's too good.
Yeah, this fight was looking really good. I was so scared for Turtle.
Wait, Viego should have just insta-died, though.
We should have paused.
I was going to pause. I was actually thinking about pausing, but I was like, nah, I think we're going to win this game still. Let's just play it out.
I got out.
I mean, you were right.
Because I was going to break my focus if I paused there, you know? It's like, just how it works.
And then here's the strange angles that Vel'Koz was playing through the whole game.
Yeah, props to Turtle, because in this sequence, he just started hitting the dragon, and it got to like pretty low, and I was like, oh, Turtle's doing the right thing. Just hit the dragon. They're like really messing with her position.
Yeah.
And then flash exhaust, see? Big play.
Oh, the spellbook.
Wow.
The spellbook paid off.
It actually got the kill there.
I actually thought you had Fudge Ignite on Sion because I didn't see the spellbook, and I just tabbed one time, and I was like, oh, my Sion has Ignite.
I like the little bit of confidence you gave me here. Use Flash Turtle. Flash on him.
Ooh, that's a good damage graph. You like to see that.
The Belveth?
Belveth?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually insane. Yeah, every fight that I got one shot by Vel'Koz, I would look at the damage, and it'd be like 2,500, and then 2K of it was true damage.
Oh, wow, that's a lot.
I'll just open my inventory.
You were dying surprisingly fast.
I know, right?
There was like a lethality AD carry on the other side.
We were thinking about like,
true, yeah.
you know how we were talking about like, should we pick Ornn or Sion on that game? As soon as I died the first time, I was like, wow, Ornn probably wouldn't have got one shot. I could at least engage on him without being in his face, but you know, I mean, man, what a crazy game though.
Yeah, before the
You guys
game, we were
watched it
looking
really
at like playoff scenarios because you guys are like, you were 1 game ahead of everyone else for 6th, and then Team Liquid beat FlyQuest, and that made this game more important.
Yeah,
we know
How
that.
close are you following this? Like, do you know exactly what you?
Oh, I just hopped on. I realized like we're fighting for playoffs now, so.
Turtle's just along for the ride.
Like, oh, we play team fighting comps. That's cool.
We're fighting for playoffs now, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it. Like, we know these are the games we got to win. You know, like the IMT game, the Dig game, 100 Thieves is a big game coming up. And then if we can pick up a win off of like another team, it's like great. Gives us a little cushion. But beating the teams below you is just like a must-do if you want to make playoffs at any capacity, you know?
Yeah, we went today and we were like, we can't lose IMT. And then Chow was like, there's pressure now. We're like, oh, that's what we want to hear.
Yeah, Chowie's like, feel pressured, guys.
What was the word he was using? He's like, the stress is on or something.
Yeah, 2-on-1, and he's like, the pressure's on, guys.
Be stressed or something. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want to hear.
Yeah, you want to relax in a lot of the cases.
Yeah, wait, is it better to be stressed or?
I don't know, that's just what the word
It wasn't a clean game it was today, so maybe not. But
Yeah, I felt like early we were a little bit. It's weird because when you're playing like a team so late in the season that's like in the lower standings, they have no pressure because they're just like, let's just roll the ball out there and play. And then the team that like needs to win sometimes is like a little bit more timid, especially since they think the other team's not so good. Maybe they don't play as fast or as hard.
Yeah.
And then the other teams like started making good plays. Like they had a couple good kills in the beginning.
yeah.
We made like a couple dumb mistakes, and I feel like that's what happens. You find yourself in a hole, and you're like, oh, maybe we need to be serious now.
Yeah, I just got told that we have an image of you right after the game that apparently they want you to answer for. I need to ask you what happened here. Where's the team synergy?
That's really
They
funny.
both said 1, 2, 3, bow. What happened here?
Well, the thing is, like, we were in like week 2 or 3, and LCS was like, you guys can do whatever you want. You don't have to bow. And so I was like, you know,
You're just T-posing.
I'm just standing. I'm just existing. And so I didn't really want to like do bowing anymore. Because everyone does bowing. And we had like the fun pose.
Yeah.
Like the K-pop pose one week.
Yeah.
And then we kind of like just stopped talking about it. But I was just like, man, I don't want to go up there and bow every day.
That's fair. More K-pop? Because I heard
We should do
he's
more.
really into it.
He is really
Boogie knows all about it.
He knows all his lyrics.
Does he make you guys sing?
No,
No.
unfortunately.
I hear him going along sometimes next to me. He's just like, no. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cute.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us.
Awesome.
This is
Yeah,
really
it's a
fun.
good time.
Congratulations on the win. You guys moved to 7-7. We're going to be quickly teeing up the Cloud9 versus EG game. And really quickly before we send this one to the casters, it's actually the 100th game for both Inspired and Jojopyun in the LCS. We wanted to benchmark them against, basically, this is the top 5 from the LCS, top 5 in each role that was voted on last year. And it's just a few basic stats to kind of see where they check in. This is after 99 games actually for Inspired, but I was blown away by Meteos being at 82 wins right there, but Inspired some still pretty good numbers for his first 100 games and year and a half in the LCS. Pulling over to Jojopyun as well. This is how he has ranked up so far in his first 100. 66 wins, hoping to make it 67 today to go to second of this list of the mid lane legends in the LCS. So just a nice little trip down memory lane before we head to C9 versus EG. So Flowers and Azael, take it away.
Awesome.
Thanks for
That's us, Flowers and Azael. Time to take it away. Thank you, Jat. Everybody else in the analyst lounge. And now, C9 versus EG, especially with FlyQuest's loss earlier, there's a lot on the line here in this one, man. This is guaranteed to be spicy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a huge game, I think, no matter what for both of these teams, because you really want to be, getting one of those top seeds. You want to be getting a preferential matchup in the first round of the playoffs. And that's what teams really do have on the line here. Cloud9, with a win, could actually move into a tie for first with FlyQuest, which really, I think, is surprising after the first round robin, where FlyQuest was looking unassailable. They were looking so dominant, but they have clearly been showing there's some more holes in their gameplay. They've been picking up a number of losses here over the weeks. So for FlyQuest, you could actually be caught today, and for EG, they could tie Cloud9 and move one game behind FlyQuest here. So for both these teams, first seed is very much still on the table.
Yeah, this is going to result in a tie one way or the other.
Yep.
Just does Cloud9 tie for first, or does Evil Geniuses tie for second? And with only the small bit of games that we've got left in regular season, Papa Smithy was talking about it. The split doesn't end today. It's going to end next week. It's going to end after 4 or 5 more games, depending on if you play the day or not. So much jumping back and forth can happen, especially if teams are cooking up something crazy for these last couple of games. And EG has never been a team that has been shy to play with some crazy ideas and some aggressive plays.
Absolutely. And I think it's so interesting when you're thinking about playoff seedings, because it's less clear who the best team is because teams have been more up and down, I think, around the top. When you're looking at FlyQuest, obviously in the first half, no one would have wanted to play them in playoffs. Now they're actually starting to pick up a lot of losses. Golden Guardians, people, I think just by name power, be like, oh yeah, Golden Guardians, that's who you want to play. They're by far the easiest. But they've been on quite a tear, right? They have actually won, I believe, 8 of their last 9 games at this point. So they're looking pretty frightening. They even took down C9 and NEG, these 2 top teams that we're seeing play here. C9, I think, is having kind of a resurgence, and a lot of people are really excited about what Emenes is going to bring to the team. So there's a lot of different factors here, both with changing of rosters and players, and also just kind of recency, how strong these teams are. That is really playing into it.
And I like the fact that you bring up Emenes. Like, obviously, this was a later on in the split change for Cloud9. They got a lot of faith in this guy moving in to replace Diplex, like thinking that this is the right move to help the team, like, take off and hit that next level. Worth pointing out, you can see the empty chair on stage here today. Jojo is also playing remote, and this is one of those things that some players it affects heavily, some players it affects not at all, but it leaves a lot up in the wind.
And from what I've heard, he is feeling under the weather today. So, he's not necessarily, in the best state right now to be playing. We'll have to see if that does actually affect him, because he's coming off of Player of the Week last week, where he had a really good week. He has been someone who has actually been targeted, I think, with a lot of criticism. I've been very critical. I think fairly overall. I think people are glossing over still some of his strengths, because he's still been incredible in the laning phase. But he has definitely been getting caught out, making those mistakes. I will say, though, the pre-game banter was still there for Jojo, so he's feeling good enough to be trash talking.
He's still talking trash in chat?
Oh yeah,
okay,
he was spamming in chat. So he's at least got enough energy for that. He's feeling good.
As long as he's talking trash, we know that he's still good, right?
If he's not talking trash, someone's got to check on him ASAP.
If he's not talking trash, it's his spirit that's sick. This is a trash talker through and through, but we're into the draft, so let's see how it goes. 2 junglers banned out by C9 in the Vi and the Sejuani. Varus and Ashe banned away here as well, with Annie, the second ban from EG, along with that Ashe, and the final ban from them. Do they want to pinch the jungle pool further, the AD carry pool? Okay, so it's going to be 2 marksmen, 2 junglers, a flex, and a support, with the Gragas locked in first. They are not shy about that.
Okay, so Gragas is actually showing up a lot more as a mid laner these days, but we know that Blaber has a really good Gragas. Actually, C9, back in the day with him, used to play a lot of Gragas Yasuo mid. That was something really powerful. Of course, it can actually go top lane. It can theoretically go support as well. So this is a very flexible champion here. Aphelios is going to be the answer on the other side. Will they lock their full bot? Are they actually going to be looking towards that? I don't think they have to. And we could see C9 still go towards like Zeri Lulu on their 2-3. And, Thresh as an answer potentially for the Aphelios on the other side. But instead, it is going to be Lucian Nami, pretty much guaranteed to be locked in here now. So C9 going very much so towards the early game, towards the mid game with this pick. This is something that really has to be executed well on, or the pick just doesn't scale anywhere close to as well as the Aphelios. We even saw Prince losing on it earlier today, who had been kind of that pinnacle, I think, of Lucian play in the LCS thus far. So, a high barrier of execution will be needed here by Zven and Berserker. Thresh almost guaranteed. It's kind of the #1 pairing that people really do like with Aphelios. Yeah. Great setup, great follow-up. If you have that Gravitum, you can do the root into the hook. You can look for all-ins there. One of the weaknesses of that Aphelios is that you don't have a dash. You don't have that ability to reposition. The Lantern can help to kind of paper over that weakness. Pairs up well also, with Inspired here on that Elise. Powerful early game ganker here on this jungler, and he can bring him in with the Lanterns, look for those flash flood plays to really try to put pressure potentially on this Lucian Nami.
And you brought up the Prince game. This is all 4 champions on both sides of the matchup, the same as that game #1. And remember that in game #1, a lot of it also came down to the jungle. It was Pyosik reading the fact that Spica was going to want to gank this lane, going to want to put Lucian Nami ahead, and stopping it in its tracks. It was also individual performances from Core JJ with the accuracy on the hooks to guarantee they could get the outplays. So, Isaac, I'm expecting some fireworks going off in bottom lane.
Absolutely. And we're going to have to see, what else C9 is going to be drafting, because one of the things that I thought watching that game for FlyQuest is that if Lucian didn't get ahead, they had no one to deal with the Sion in that game. They had no one to actually punch through him. Yeah. What will Cloud9 draft for their soul lanes? Are they going to draft something that is high damage, or are they going to be looking more towards mid game, more towards burst? And is EG even going to kind of pose that question of, hey, give Ssumday a tank, who's going to deal with me, right? Is that the approach that they're going to be looking for?
And there's some teams in the LCS that you would expect them to just go for late, be like, we need an insurance plan versus a tank. But I don't think Cloud9's the type of team that always says, we need to buy insurance. They say, give me the fastest rental car you have, and I'm going to see how fast it goes, right? So, especially with Fudge being the one you're asking the question about, beep, beep, I'm a Jeep, let's see it.
And I think one of the fun things here is that EG's down and play some chicken, right? Like, they are not a team that has to go late either. This is a team that is down to risk it all in the early game. Yone would be interesting. K'Sante, I think, would make a lot more sense here. You know, if you are blinding top, this is a very stable top laner. It's not really going to give you great hard engage. The Yone would be pretty exciting if it does get locked in, and it does. So it is a bit of a takeaway here from Emenes. You could see them hovering the Yasuo, perhaps saying, hey, we think you're going to be playing that Gragas Yasuo. We think this is going to be a Blaber jungle pick. There was double mid lane bans as well. So they clearly were saying, that's not an Emenes Gragas. That is not an Emenes Gragas. That is going to be going top, or that's going to be going jungle, because they banned out Akali, they banned out the LeBlanc, they take away the Yone. We can see there's so many bans thrown towards Emenes. He's going to be playing something potentially new, and Tryndamere locked in. So pretty much for sure, I think this is going to be jungle Gragas. We will get absolute confirmation here, but Tryndamere will be really exciting. I wonder if they actually want that as a matchup with the Yone, if they're going to try to follow the Yone around the map and have that be the matchup that he's looking for, you know, be able to be willing to lane swap that, or if that's just going to be going straight top. And for now, it's looking like it is going to be a Tryndamere mid, which we were seeing, I want to say, like last year around Worlds, around there was a lot of this being played in solo queue. It is actually quite a strong pick, can be dominant in these mid lane, you know, melee versus melee matchups, if that's the kind of play that you're actually looking for. It's just so important that Tryndamere has access to the wave. If you can keep your Fury high, use that for sustain if you need it, but also importantly have that additional crit chance. That is what really dictates if you can win these matchups.
Plus, Cloud9 taking the Sion, saying, hey, if you are playing Yone mid, if you still need to pick your top laner, you're not going to be able to pick the infinite health scaling mega wall that is the Sion. So it'll be K'Sante locked in for Ssumday.
I will say, it's a very kind of weird comp here, though, for Cloud9, right? Because when you're looking at Tryndamere, you're thinking, all right, you're going to go heavy split push. When you're looking at Sion, you're thinking, all right, you really want to heavily team fight. You know, Lucian is kind of very mid-gamey. Tryndamere, I see as much more like winning through sides in later stages. Tryndamere can go Gale Force and go, you know, like Gale Force, Navori, and try to really play that kind of dive backline style where he's going to act as dive buddy alongside the Gragas. So maybe that is the thought process there. But this is definitely not traditional front-to-back team fighting on either side. There's a lot more explosiveness. There's a lot more kind of early game mixed in here, and a lot of dive really on both sides. So it's going to be, I think, one of those games that comes down to individual skirmishes that are breaking out. Even within a 5v5, we could see the fight break into a 2v2 on one side, a 3v3 on the other side, where it comes down to those individual outplays, how people can really perform and coordinate in the moment.
If you are telling me that a C9 versus EG game is going to come down to mechanical outplays and skirmishes, that is the best thing you could possibly say. That is the absolute value of a lane swap. That is League of Legends right there, the way that Mark Merrill intended back when he made it in 1995.
Freak made it.
Yes, that's right, in Freak's basement.
When Freak in his basement said, let there be League of Legends, and it spawned unto the earth.
I'm excited for this. I'm so ready to see what these teams are bringing to the table today. We already talked about how close they are in the standings. They both showed they're willing to play that non-traditional sort of approach here to this game. The previous game was a banger, and I'm hoping this one can follow suit.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really fun one. It is Ghost Flash for Emenes here on the Tryndamere. So playing more towards that mobility, not looking for an early cheese kill with Ignite or anything like that. That's more something you might see traditionally in top lane. With mid, I think it's so important to have those mobility summoners. Tryndamere needs those summoners to be able to consistently get backline access. I'm expecting it to be Gale Force build. Maybe he's going to do something else, but that is what we had been mostly seeing when we were seeing Tryndamere in competitive, to give him that backline access, to be able to have that ability to try to get on someone like FBI and really pin him down and burst him down. That being said, I think potentially, you know, K'Sante can shut that down. I think K'Sante can be that brick wall, can make that difficult. You know, Tryndamere actually Gale Forces in on your Aphelios. All of a sudden, he gets ulted out of the fight by the Aphelios, or excuse me, by the K'Sante.
Yeah.
You know, Flay, the box, lanterns, things like this as well can really make it difficult. You know, if the Thresh is actually disabling you on some of these dashes and you're not able to connect, that can be really, really tough. And Vulcan is also playing Glacial Augment, so there's going to be that AoE slow. We know that Thresh in later stages of the game can get incredibly low cooldown on those hooks. So if he's actually landing them, on people like this Tryndamere, on people like this Gragas that I'm expecting to be going probably full AP, knowing Blaber and the fact that he's playing Dark Harvest, that could be really, really tough for C9 potentially.
And I think that it's going to be a great game to play K'Sante in terms of itemization. We know that this champion loves both Iceborne Gauntlet and Sunfire Cape, which are pure armor items. Your lane opponent, he does physical damage. Lucian does physical damage. Mid laner does physical damage.
The flowers, what about the Nami?
Well, unfortunately for the side of C9, it's only the Nami, and it's only a Gragas that we know in the current day and age, in the current state of League of Legends, junglers in pro play just aren't going to have the economy to be the, I'm going to one-hit you, K'Sante, type of build, right?
Absolutely.
So this is going to feel good for Ssumday to be able to itemize this and just play to the edge here in these fights.
Absolutely. I mean, you just pretend it's full physical. Who cares about Gragas? It honestly doesn't matter at all. Most of the tank mythics have some MR on them. That's more than enough. If you are losing a team fight where the enemy AP Gragas is full using his combo on you as K'Sante and you are losing, there's a lot of other problems happening in that game. Exactly. Like, there's a lot of stuff that went wrong there for that to be able to actually happen. So yeah, I think K'Sante is going to be potentially that brick wall. But likewise, on the other side, it can be really tough to actually punch through this Sion because it's basically the same kind of situation. It is mostly physical on the other side. Aphelios obviously can do really high consistent damage, so he's going to be better as that frontline killer, but it's Yone, it's the Aphelios, and it's K'Sante. Again, Elise can't actually 100 to 0 a Sion. He can't actually be focusing that either. So both these tanks could really have a big impact in this game. But I think so much, for Cloud9 is going to come down to how their carries, in particular, Emenes and Berserker can really perform because, there's really kind of high risk, high reward for these types of champions. Lucian, we know, is relatively low range. You're kind of playing that middle ground. And when you're looking over at the other side, there's a lot of CC. There's a lot of ways that it can go bad. It's not just Thresh Hook. It's the potential of the Elise Cocoon. It's the potential of getting caught by a Yone knockup or ult. It's getting flipped in by a K'Sante. If any of that stuff happens, even with Cleanse, you're probably just going to die in the follow-up CC.
All right, I'm going to get back to that point in just a second, but I do want to update everybody at home. There's some sort of issue with JoJo's connection to the game because of his playing remote, so the lobby is being remade. The game is going to be remade in the same state that it is now, I am assuming. So yeah, we're definitely not doing the draft again. I don't know if there was any mistake with runes or masteries or anything like that, but we're going to draft the same 5 champions. We're going to have to remake the lobby, so that will take a couple of minutes to get through. But you're talking about, the execution, the burden of that is high. This could go bad, this could go good. We saw the coin come up tails in the FlyQuest game earlier where they were not able to get the Lucian Nami off the ground. Again, jungler interference from both sides playing a big role in that. A couple of those skirmishes coming down to just the last hit here or there that could have gone the other way. But if that Lucian falls behind, especially with the nerfs he suffered, and especially with Thresh recently getting buffs, Aphelios just loving this stupid 80 carry shield build, these guys are going to feel insanely oppressive.
Yeah, it can be really, really difficult. I do think one of the things working for Cloud9 in this game compared to that earlier FlyQuest one is there's the potential to snowball through side lanes as well. There's ways to potentially circumvent some of the strengths and the difficulties that they'll have dealing with that K'Sante. If you can get Tryndamere really ahead of the pace of the game and get him out to those side lanes, get him pressuring towers, make that game really, really difficult where AG can't necessarily group up, can't necessarily find these fights that they are going to be looking for. Aphelios wants more of an organized team fight. Lucian's okay in the chaos. Lucian's okay taking those 1v1s and the 2v2s and the 2v3s and these types of situations. There's more of that ability often to outplay on that side. But the early game going to be really, really important here for C9. And this game in general, meaning so much to both these teams. We are really, getting down to it here. It is only one more week after this one remaining here in the LCS regular season. And both these teams hunting for that first seed here, trying to knock down FlyQuest a peg, take that away, secure an easier opponent here in playoffs.
Yeah, and it's so much of a conversation about strength of schedule towards the end of the season, right? There's a big difference between having to play the bottom 5 teams in your last 5 or the top 5 teams. That this is one of the strongest opponents you could possibly have left to play against. The only other opponent that you would probably consider stronger than each other in this game is FlyQuest. Maybe Golden Guardians if they're just popping off in scrims or something, right? So this is a huge one to win. This makes your path forward feel a lot better.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking forward, Cloud9 does still have to play FlyQuest. EG does not. So they kind of have, this would be their last hardest game, right? This would be their last biggest challenge. And both these teams, really wanting to try to take it down. going to be excited to see, what they bring out as far as, the early pathing as well. Anytime I see someone playing an Elise, it just feels like you've got to get stuff done early, and you've got to continually get stuff done early because this champion is just so difficult to pilot well in team fights if you're not enormously ahead, right? It is so tough to actually find access to those carries.
The way I see it, Elise is always a spider. If she's ahead, you're a fly. If she's behind, you're a shoe. And that means that the engagement versus the spider
Rock, paper, scissors,
is
spider
very
world.
different. Right, yeah. It's fly, spider, shoe.
Until you go to Australia and the spiders are bigger than the shoe.
Right, I mean, this is not Australia rules. All right, we don't. Papa Smithy and Spawn, we're only here for game number 1. It's not Australia rules. This is NA Elise, so it does still apply. Is she going to be up against flies, or is she going to be up against shoes? And that's entirely up to the Elise and the way the rest of the team plays around her, see?
Yeah, true. We'll have to find out. I mean, Inspired has been, I think, very good for EG throughout really his entire time. He's been so consistent with the team. You can see the players kind of joking around, relaxing. It can be tough. I'm not going to lie. It can be tough in these situations to try to really stay focused. When you are as a pro, you're going into what is an important match. And you kind of have to get into that mental state, whether it is absolute focus, absolute calm, or you want to try to stay a little relaxed, joke around, whatever works for an individual player. It can just be tough to stay in that exact same mindset where you're going to kind of get the maximum performance for extended periods of time. So when you're getting hyped up, draft finishes, you're going into the game, and then all of a sudden it's the pause. It can really kind of kill your momentum, kill your build up to that. So this is where it's actually super important to have players on the team that can keep people focused or keep people from getting too nervous. Because if there's one thing that is really common from talking to pros, it is the time before the game where nerves hit people often the most. Once they're in game, you can kind of trust in your practice in that repetition where you can kind of get into your own comfort zone. But pre-game is when you really start thinking through, what if this happens? What if that happens? And for a lot of people, that is the most difficult time to really kind of manage your energy and manage your expectation.
And especially when you don't know how long the delay is going to be. I mean, a player playing from remote is, now that we're past, the COVID era where everything has to be remote all the time, it's something that's not nearly as common anymore. So it's one of those things, hey, is this a 5-minute delay? Is this a longer delay? You need to have that morale guy. You need to have the team boosting guy who's just like, yeah, it's cool, it's good, it's whatever. Or maybe you don't need the relaxing guy. You need the fire up guy. And just keeping everybody stoked. Like, let's beat these guys, right? Like, you just got to have everybody on the same page. It's tough to deal with. I know that this is one of the things that, can be frustrating no matter where you are. I remember even playing solo queue games back in the day where you had promotion series between every bracket, right? Even just being like,
those were an abomination, by the way.
Those were an abomination. I hate them just as much as you did. I'm glad we agree on that.
Thank you, Riot Games.
Yeah, for changing it.
Yeah.
Not for implementing it back then. That's what we're talking about, we're upset about, but thank you for changing it.
For changing it.
But back in the day, even if I got to my promo series and I played the first one, but it took so long and I'm like, I have to go to sleep because I have to wake up in the morning. I'd be like, no, I'm in my zone. I'm in my promo. I want to keep playing it and just get it done.
Sleep is not an option. Only victory. You're going back in. I know you.
We gotta go back.
You're like, well, I had to get sleep, so I stayed up for 4 more hours and finished my promo series.
But you see, then the bad part is, what if you lose it? Then you're like, well,
so you got to get back into your promo series at least before you go to bed.
All of a sudden, I was originally, if I would have just gone to bed after one game of the promo series, I'm in bed at midnight. I can wake up at 8 a.m.
You've been a good boy.
All of a sudden, I'm going to sleep at 5:30.
You're getting coal in your stockings for Christmas.
I got stuff at 8 o'clock. I'm not sleeping. I just decided to play 2 more games to just go through the whole night anyway. It's one of those situations it's annoying no matter where you are, but especially here on the pro stage, especially in a game like this. It's Inspired's chilling, Fudge is chilling. Everybody's pretty much chilling. How about you, Isaac? How's your week been?
I'm chilling, man. My week's been pretty good.
Yeah.
But I've been watching. Do you watch Drive to Survive?
No, what is
show
that?
on Netflix?
Isn't F1 just European NASCAR? I'm not really familiar with it.
It's so much more interesting than NASCAR,
I'm definitely going to get some tweets.
So here's the thing.
One,
NASCAR just drives in a circle.
Okay.
F1, they got to make turns. They got to pass. There's way more to it. Yeah, there's all kinds of different tracks.
Oh, well,
it's actually really compelling. You should watch it. I've been watching the new season. Almost done it. Or maybe I think I'm maybe one more episode. It's really, really good.
I mean, I saw Kobe tweeting that he liked it a lot too, and you guys normally have pretty good ideas about stuff. So except when Kobe comes up with certain solo queue ideas, those ones seem a little funky sometimes. But I still love you, buddy. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead. There's still a little bit more time before we can figure out this delay and the cause. In the meantime, we're gonna toss to a trailer of League's newest upcoming champion. Check it out.
Yesterday Today, I help fight a giant snake. Purple with 1,000 eyes and huge, pointy teeth. Ah! But whoosh! Woo! My fire looked so scary, it rushed off into the jungle, never to be seen again. Pretty amazing, right? Yeah, you're so brave, Emilio. Tell us more. Fine, but only 'cause you asked. I've done so many new things since leaving my village. You won't believe this, but I battled a green monster too. It had 8 legs and massive claws, taller than the trees. I learned to heal a lot of people at once, way more than I did at home.
Wow, that sounds tough. How do you do it, Emilio?
After I get it once, it's easy. Wherever I go, I try to make new friends. And it always works.
Yeah!
Eventually. I know it's surprising, but fire doesn't have to hurt. It's nice to help people see it differently.
That's great training to get stronger, too.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we think a lot alike. My family is gonna love those stories. They're probably waiting for my next letter.
I wish they were here right now.
They are here right now. And remember, we're gonna make them so proud. Ooh, I'm sleepy. I bet they have comfy beds in Ishaokan.
Welcome back to literally casters stalling. We're your casters, and we're stalling for time while we get the players loaded back into the game. Fortunate news for all y'all out there here in the arena and at home. We're almost there. I have received update that the 10-player computers, including JoJo's, from wherever out there he may be, are ready to go, and hopefully they'll be back in the lobby here real soon.
So I see
and we
two
can get it
people in
going.
the lobby. So 2 out of 10.
That's.
We're 20% there.
I was hoping for
One of
8.
them left. We have 1.
That's not the direction that I
Oh,
wanted.
the lobby's gone.
Okay.
Okay. We're going backwards.
All right. Isaac will find the new lobby, and then we'll.
I was
figure out-
hoping when I said that, I was hoping like I was gonna say 2, but then I was like, oh, 3, 4.
Right, yeah,
5.
you know, counting everybody,
Yeah.
funneling in. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
can-
guys,
yeah,
let's
exactly.
go.
You do some like Sesame Street, you know, like count.
Yeah, 1, yeah.
2,
No, you ever play in like little, like some of those smaller tournaments back in the day, like before Clash or whatever, just like with your friends, and you're waiting for the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
guys to show up, and it finally just feels like you see all 5 guys show up. You're like, yes, finally we get to play. I was hoping I was going to get to relive some of that nostalgia, but
I thought you were
unfortunately
gonna
not.
talk about the like staggered bathroom breaks, because that's literally the worst.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you like finish the game, you're like, all right, boys, let's queue back up, and someone's like, 1 sec, gotta use the bathroom, and then before they get back, the next person goes. And then before they get back, the next person goes. And then someone's like, well, if they're going to take that long, I'm going to get something to eat. And you're just like, damn it.
Right. Dude, it got worse after I moved to LA because everybody out here does food delivery. Out in Ohio, you can't even get food delivery like where I come from because it's too far out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But out here, it's always just like, sorry, guys, Uber Eats. Sorry, guys, DoorDash. Sorry, guys, Grubhub. Sorry, guys, all of this different stuff. And it's just like, dude, how do you possibly order this perfectly desynced with every other person in the team?
You
to
need
make
the
it so we're
squad
always
orders,
stuck in
you
this
know?
spot? Yeah.
That's why
exactly.
we need the homie LAN center.
Grubhub, if you're out there listening right now, I need you to implement this. The flex queue option. I've run out of stuff to say.
Everyone in the squad
I
needs to all eat at the same time.
we could totally sell this. We could make this product.
We
sell
could. This could,
Okay.
yeah. Time to quit our jobs as casters. You know,
All right.
we're gonna go all in.
If we don't make Worlds this year, we're just gonna have to use that month and
Just deliver some food.
just spend it on
Figure it
creating
out.
the ultimate flex queue food delivery experience. We've lost the plot.
That's
It's
perfect.
okay. How's our lobby? How many
We
guys?
have 5.
Okay.
It's half.
It's 3 more guys.
There's some more in
Okay.
the spectator slots though. We're
We're
at 6.
6. Okay. I thought we got
7?
7. But
We
it was,
do, we
it was just
do.
one of the guys changing sides. Okay.
But one guy changed sides, and then another guy joined.
Okay. So that's more guys. We only
got
need 3
7.
more guys.
So we got all Cloud9.
3 more guys and we win.
We got 2 EG. And we got 2 EG. So we're just waiting. Oh, wait, no, JoJo's there.
Yeah,
Who are we
JoJo's
missing?
here.
So their bot lane's there. We're just actually missing Inspired.
Where's Inspired? Wait, he was leaning back in his chair. He fall asleep.
No, he's
No,
awake.
okay, he's there.
I'm looking at him.
He's there.
There's someone
All right.
behind him.
Yeah, I do believe he's currently receiving some help.
Some tech
Of
support.
some kind. Yeah, tech support of some way, shape, or form. You know, back when we had to do all the remote casts all the time?
That was
I
a
learned-
horrible, dark time.
Yes, it was. And I learned just how overpowered tech support was because I would call these guys for assistance. I literally could not understand the instructions given to me. The words that they used were just not words that I knew. And it got to the point where my work computer, I just had to download. They just told me to download something that would let them remote into it and fix it. Because
Remote desktop, the savior of all
Yeah.
incompetent casters.
I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I literally don't know what the directions mean. I can't read this. It's like, you know how for international events, when we go to Europe, all the food has everything in like kcals and like grams and meters and stuch. I don't know what any of that is. So I'm
meters.
what?
That's like 3 meters of steak.
Give me a meter of SpaghettiOs. I don't know how much is in there.
They offer their pasta in meter.
Yeah, bro. It's just a long pasta.
Yeah, they don't give you a bowl. It's just like one thin line. you know?
Yeah.
They lay it out for you around the table.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
a
it's
track of noodles.
It's like Lady and the Tramp because you know that movie's in France or something, so they got
And
a
then eat
meter of-
together,
Give
meet
me
in
a
the
meter
middle.
of pasta.
Yeah, a meter of pasta. It's not a liter of cola.
No, it's a
over in
meter-
Europe. It's a meter
Yeah,
of
it's a
pasta.
meter of pasta. See, that's what I'm talking about. Some of the.
I'm with you.
difficult
I'm with you.
experience
That's
out there.
that's
Okay.
tough.
I'm glad I'm
it's
not
tough
alone
out
in
here in
that
these streets.
experience.
Yeah, it's
How many-
difficult, man.
How many guys are we up
We
to?
got 7. We're up to the same.
Still missing 3
We're
guys.
still missing Inspired.
We're
2
trying.
of them are still in spectator slots.
Inspired, you know, spent some time in the LEC. Was an MVP over there.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
How many meters of pasta do you think he's eaten in his life?
Probably a lot. You got to make sure you're getting good meal before every one of your
Yeah.
games. Got to make sure you're ready to go. They make a lot of good pasta over there in Europe.
That's true. They
Yeah.
do. Oh,
Oh.
wait, he joined.
Okay.
Okay,
All
we're
right.
missing 1. We're good. We got 10.
Okay, let's rock and roll. Please don't let us have cursed. I realized as soon as
10 in the lobby. I'm waiting for. Wait,
Okay.
let's see. Let me scroll down, see if there's some banter. Maybe they're ready. We got. Hi, I made it.
Hi, I made it.
We got. Let's just have fun.
What up,
Okay.
guys?
Okay, it's looking like it's looking good. Emenes says, "I hope this game will be the best match in this split." That's wholesome. And Blaber's just spamming ready 1,000 times. Vulcan now is trying to, and now it's a spam battle.
This is exactly what I would expect, is just everybody just trying to mash the button more. Just, it's like trying to click a grayed out button. You know it doesn't do anything, but it makes you feel better. It helps you vent. Wait, what is this?
Wait, Blaber's cursing it. He said, "I hope this is on the wrong server. That would be so funny." Stop that, Blaber. None of that.
Please, no. Dude, come on. Just please.
Don't you put that bad juju out there, Blaber.
Wait. Have we had him as a guest caster? Has he been one of the players that's been a guest caster?
I feel like he has at some point, no? I don't
trying to
actually know.
remember.
I can't remember.
Because that's what I'm trying to figure out. Does he have
The
curse
curse?
magic or not?
Oh,
Because
yes.
if he hasn't casted before.
We're in Big Band!
Okay. We got back to
Hey!
the pick band, remember, is going to be the exact same thing that it was before. Now, that was so long ago that I don't remember what that was, but we're going to see it here in just a
I
moment.
remember there's an Elise,
Once
and
they
we're asking,
reselect-
is it going to be an insect or a shoe for the other team?
Right, yes, that was
Yeah.
one of the things. We had the Gragas because it was bamboozling early on, but they read through the bamboozle.
Got the Lucian.
Yeah, we got Lucian and Nami in there
Yep.
because they got their butts whipped earlier, and we're going to see if it happens
Yep.
again.
Yep.
And, oh, look, we got the draft happening right here. You can see we also have, it's the Yone and the Tryndamere that really stand out here as probably the most exciting picks to watch.
Stand out as the most edgy and also most angry players in my solo queue games, I would say.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, actually, so you know what's always wild is sometimes you'll get those guys that just completely rage. But
Yeah.
then, like, there's the one North American Tryndamere streamer, Fogged. You ever see him?
Oh, yeah, he's pretty chill.
He's
He's
super
zen.
chill. He's
Yeah.
always just vibing, but he's playing this champion that like all in level 1 rage cheeses you. And I'm like, the personality just does not match the player. This guy's just relaxed playing Tryndamere. It's hard to.
I think we can all agree, though, that Riven players are their absolute worst.
I don't know if Riven dominates the rage meta as hard as she used to with the release
Who
of
do you
more
have then? Who's
anime
on your
champions.
S tier rage champion?
Vayne is mega rage.
Vayne is up there for sure.
Vayne is mega rage.
Vayne can roll in, flash under a tower, instantly die, and then she's just looking for someone to blame. She's just gonna start pinging everybody, see if something can stick.
You ever wonder why her glasses are the color they are? It's because she's always seeing red because she's always pissed. Everybody who plays Vayne is mad.
True.
And then I get mad at them. And so then Vayne just makes the game more mad than it would otherwise
And
be.
you also just get mad at Vayne the champion. You are
Right.
not a Vayne enthusiast.
No,
if
I'm
I
not a
remember
Vayne
correctly
enthusiast.
from all the games I played with your Skarner, if Vayne is not banned and it gets through pick bans, we're on a thin line there between love and war for CaptainFlowers.
So yeah, I think I would give Vayne my nomination over the Riven, but I do agree that Riven is up there.
Riven's up there
Traditionally,
for sure.
I think that I don't see nearly as many Rivens as I used to, and that's really sad.
Thank God.
Wait.
I
was
hate that
about-
champion.
I was about to say it's sad because one, they're all trying to make montages, so you can just kill them over and over and over again every time they push. And two, we actually had so many good Riven players in North America, and I was always hoping we would get to see like, oh, somebody pick Riven in Pro, give me the pocket pick, give me some of that crazy solo queue action. But now she's just so far gone, man. I can't even see her in the rearview mirror anymore. She's just.
We need someone to bust it out.
Someone has to save the day
Get
and play
Viper
the
back.
Riven.
Or maybe he's passed on his Riven knowledge to General Sniper.
Oh yeah, he's just got to work his way up. Maybe Revenge will break it out one day.
True.
Maybe Revenge has the
used to be that Riven guy.
Still ready to go.
So we are in the game. They have to, I think, do a brief pause. I think it's for like the building up the delay or something, perhaps. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but we are in a brief pause. Hopefully, it is going to be ready to go. And I don't know if they're just checking and make sure everything's good. But we are in game. Players are chatting. So hopefully we'll be smooth sailing once we actually get started. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. We're not going to say anything definitive yet, just ifs. If we get in there, it's going to be a great time. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
I always just love the banter going back and forth. Emenes is asking, should I mute all EG players? And Jojo goes, if you want, but if you mute me, I'm in your head.
Rent free.
It's already a mental diff.
I always enjoy the JoJo banter. I'm so glad, like, because I've seen so many people, like, you read the comments on Reddit and Twitter, and the second thing you realize after realizing you made a mistake for reading those comments is you realize there's a lot of people that are just like, oh man, this kid, he's always running his mouth. But then there's just as many people who are like, I love this. And JoJo, nobody has a neutral opinion on this guy, and that's why he's so fun to watch. Unfortunately, I must now be the harbinger of dread yet again and tell you all that we are now investigating a rune change issue.
Who changed the runes?
Answer.
Question. Do you support public execution on the LCS stage?
Hold on.
That's the question unrelated to the rune change and the delay.
Different ideas that we were going to, but that just went like way off the road. You didn't
Too
even
much.
go down the dirt road.
In game, not in real life.
The jet just flew off. Well, I mean, we were talking about Europe, and the French used to use guillotines and stuff. So I don't know where we're going, but man, we're having some. Is that the name of a new rune? That must be the name of a new rune that I didn't hear of. I don't really know exactly.
Executioner's calling.
Oh yes, of course. You've got to have grievous runes against healing. Nami heals.
True.
That's
absolutely.
It's very important to stop healing.
Gragas passive.
Yeah, he's always trying to just take a swig, top off his health bar.
I think we're losing it.
Yeah,
but
I think it's been lost.
It's been lost. It's true.
I mean, we were talking
We did take
about
a left turn at NASCAR a while ago.
Another right at meters of pasta. So
yeah, meters of pasta was a good conversation though.
Run out of a little bit.
To
of
be
it.
honest, that's been kind of stuck in my head. I'm like, how many meters of pasta have you eaten? How many yards? How many yards of hamburger have you had in your life?
Well, I mean, a yard's close to a meter, right?
Well, we have to go, America terms. So.
Right. Yeah. That's always.
I'm more of a meter guy myself because Canadian.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. So here's the thing. Here's what I'll give you. When people from other countries make fun of us for measuring stuff in feet and inches and miles and pounds instead of like meters and kilograms and whatnot, you know what? I totally get it. Their system makes a lot more sense. However, there's one country that's not allowed to do it, and it's the UK because they measure stuff in stones. And
that's the worst. Everyone agreed that one is the worst.
What that was, it made less sense after I learned it than before I learned it. So I will not accept the bans from the UK, but from everywhere else, it's acceptable.
Unless it's like medieval times,
I mean, in
then you're like,
times, you were
how many rocks do you wear? Flowers?
I'll trade you 9 chickens for a sword. There was no rules back then. It was just Wild West. And except the West ended at
we need to
the
bring
Atlantic
back
Ocean.
the trade economy,
like,
start bartering for things.
It was just like we were all back there. We were like, we're trying to go across the ocean. We want to find new places, and then
we're gonna have to start selling our shoutcasting skills for chickens and things.
For chicken?
Yeah,
dude. How many chickens do you think we could get? How many chickens do you think an Azael and CaptainFlowers cast is worth?
I don't know. I hope at least one. Otherwise, I think we're going hungry.
Dude, if we're just gonna do this the whole time, I wouldn't even give me a pigeon.
What would we even be casting at the farm though? That's gonna be worth that trade.
Oh, have you ever?
We're just casting them milking cows, and then they're like, "All right, thank you."
You ever seen a turkey flipping contest?
I haven't.
It's a real thing.
Yeah. Have you ever cast a turkey flipping contest?
I've never casted a turkey flipping contest.
Do you think we could get hired to cast a turkey flipping contest? Because I would be down.
What's that? I just had producers in my ear.
I said, do you think we could get hired to cast the turkey flipping contest?
Oh, I guarantee you. We can
I'm up for it. I'm just going to put that out there.
We can absolutely smoke whoever's in charge. But with us having to remake the lobby, again, this time, I believe, for the rune issue, we're going to throw it over to our latest adventure in Bring Your Pro to Work Day. Check it out.
So today is Rafa's Bring Your Pro to Work, and he has Chime. And instead of showing Chime around the office, at work, he decided to start a band. This is an office.
Yeah, so I heard Chime played music, so I was like, dude, do you want to bring some instruments in? And now we're a band, guys.
As rock stars, we only got one thing on our mind.
That's right.
Instagram followers.
I was gonna say good memories. Our music, Ren Rock, Renewal Rock, we just renew everything. So we got rock, country, folk, blues.
Funk. Disco, new age.
I see the password. It's a long one. Classical music. We gotta find ways to incorporate Mozart and Bach.
And we do.
What you watching?
LEC.
LEC. important artists to us, oh man, Rick Astley, definitely got to be one of them. Nickelback too, man.
Yeah.
You should watch LCS. We're on weekdays now, so it fits your schedule.
The Tarzan soundtrack, dude, I just felt something in my bones.
This is ridiculous.
This is awesome. Rafa and Chime are sick. This band is so cool. I've been a fan of them ever since day one. I'm talking as soon as the band was out. 3 hours ago. All right, Rafa, Chime, got an idea? Tambourine, a little bit of tambourine in the band, huh?
Sorry, Clayton.
How about the bongos, huh? A little bit of Donkey Kong action in there. I played a lot when I was a little kid. Okay. Cowbell. Already taken. Okay, what about the recorder? How about the recorder? Everybody could use a
Oh, excuse me, Flowers. Sorry, my kids.
These kids have no idea what they're talking about. You don't call yourself a rock star. I used to be in a band. I was a star. I rocked. But did I call myself a rock star? No, it's tacky. Guys! You can't have a band in the office.
I think there's something in my ear. There's something. Oh!
I can't find my drumsticks.
Oh, I think they're on the ground.
Right. Oh! And he's got a friend.
You're so cringe, man.
Yeah, you're a narc.
Bye, Jen.
Off, no fun, police!
This is worse than I thought. It's time to bring in the big guns. Hey, everyone! I want you to meet Carl. He's our maintenance guy. Carl, show him your keys. He's here to shut things down.
So that's it? It's just over? This sucks. What about the tours?
Bye-bye, music. Show him the keys again.
Whoa, guys. It was never about that. It's about the music. It's what brought us together in the first place, right? I mean, they can do whatever they want, but the music will keep us together. But it can never take away the music.
I'm gonna miss you, man. I'm gonna miss you. I love you, man.
Actually, guys, I think I can figure something out. Carl, let me see your keys.
Thank you so much for coming out, everyone, to our first and only farewell tour. We are Vista Issues!
1, 2, 3, 4.
You know, I ordered the band T-shirt.
I can't believe you could be in a band with me.
I
can't believe they did you like that.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
messed up.
Jack got it canceled. There's no merchandise.
We'll have a second marketable skill. You know, once the economy collapses, we can cast turkey flipping, and
We're gonna
we'll
be
have our
the
band.
turkey flipping traveling band.
Yeah.
And on that note, welcome back here to the desk where we're currently loaded into the lobby and the players have selected their champions, and now it's loading onto Summoner's Rift.
It is.
We're getting there.
But I see someone missing from their chair.
Well, I have just been informed that, unfortunately, we correctly predicted the state of affairs slightly earlier, in that now things have been desynced and paused for so long that somebody had to take an emergency.
It literally
restroom
comes back
break.
to full circle.
Yeah, we've been here long enough for the entire plot line to play itself out. Unfortunately,
The LCS is
stuff-
scripted. It's
Yeah.
just too obvious at this
Yeah,
point.
sorry, we should have. What did those Game of Thrones guys say before they screwed up the whole show? Subverted the expectations of the script.
Oh,
Yeah!
he's back! Welcome
Let's
back,
go!
Vulcan.
Ratio that bathroom, baby. All right, he's in here. We're just about ready to play some League of Legends, Isaac. I like League of Legends. How about you?
I do too. Inspire says doesn't matter, just go 4v5. It's just AFK level 1.
Just go 4v5. That's how you know you're desperate.
Yeah.
Your team's down and man, you just say, screw it, play anyway.
Just start. All right. I think we're good. I see them moving around. I see things happening.
Let's go! It's time for game 3 of the day. Number 2, C9, going against number 3, EG. C9 wins it, they're tied for first. EG wins it, they're tied for second. Lots on the line. Yone on one side, Tryndamere on the other. Let's do it.
Yeah, this is gonna be a really fun one. Gotta get back into the game mode here. See how this early game goes. I do think it's gonna be really important. So they're trying to actually push back. This is an interesting invade. So Sion is coming up here on the invade to actually push them up to create space for Emenes to walk into this brush. Ssumday is actually checking to see, all right, is there any sort of cheeky invade going here? Because there's multiple champions that can actually go over the wall. You know, you can use this back wall here, go over with Gragas. You can go over as well with that Tryndamere. So we'll see, are they actually gonna find him? And
this is also something
he's spotted.
That can be extra important. You can see Emenes backing away. Fudge was also staying nearby. You've always got to be wary of early level 1 invades from Sion. He can steal so much. I know Emily has talked a lot about this on a bunch of different occasions when teams do it. You can catch somebody off guard and really screw up the early game for him if you can sneak Sion in there and just steal everything.
Well, and we've seen Cloud9 do this. It was actually Fudge playing Fiora, I want to say, against CLG. It was in that Contracts game.
Yep,
where
Fiora versus Contracts.
Basically ruined Contracts' entire game level 1, right? Actually, by getting over that wall, forcing him out. So I do like that C9 is continually trying this. They're making people respect it. They're making them look out for these cheeky plays. Emenes gets that early push. You know, being able to actually get that spin and slash in, get a couple autos out, is going to be able to win this trade.
And the nice part about the way he used the spin and slash there, it kills all of the minions that was in his way. Remember, you get Fury for killing those minions. You get a big boost. It raises your crit chance, helps you win out on those early trades. Jojo's going to have to be mindful of the power of those crits, especially early. It feels pretty bad to lose to it because it is just a % chance to proc, but it's part of playing against the champion. You've always got to be aware that could be his game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of these Tryndamere one-tricks just go crazy for all ends. They'll look for these aggressive trades, and if they find that crit, that's sometimes enough for them to actually trigger that all-in. Look for it. Of course, in mid lane, it's much more difficult to do that. You can't just chase him down. You know, it's not this long extended lane, so a lot of it is going to be about the sustain. You know, being able to avoid as many of these Q3s from Jojo as possible, where he can get that advantageous trade and really just try to poke and prod away at Jojo on this Yone, because Tryndamere is going to have a lot more sustain in these situations.
And the times where it is more effective to trade against Tryndamere, you can see Jojo going in right there, unfortunately missed his Q3. After Emenes pops the heal and consumes all of his Fury, your crit chance is based on that Fury. You get bonus damage based on that Fury, so it makes it a window to try to hit him back.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so much about keeping Tryndamere off the wave. The matchups that Tryndamere really struggles in are the ones where he can't constantly get access to that wave and refill that Fury bar over and over and over. So if you start to get ahead, it can really snowball. You know, if you can chunk Tryndamere down to where he can't actually step up and refill that Fury bar on the wave, then all of a sudden, he can't actually step up whatsoever, and then it becomes, you know, more and more in favor of that Yone. This is awkward though, because Jojo actually didn't get that wave all the way to the turret. He's gonna take a base. If he finishes this base, he's got TP back immediately because his wave is not great, so he will be TPing right back in, gets a dagger, gets a refillable, gonna have to complete that push. He can do this because he is not playing against an enemy mid laner who has TP, right? His double combat summons on the other side. So he refills his health, gets a little buy, and he's gonna try to utilize that additional power here to win out in this 1v1 from this situation.
And that's essentially what Teleport is early game, right? It is a full heal summoner spell that takes you away from the combat for a little while. Probably lose a little bit of EXP from the minions, a little bit of gold there. But that's what Jojo gets value from. You can see him now immediately getting aggressive against the low Fury Emenes, who's now at 250 HP, healing back up a little bit. Both junglers are hanging around the area. Inspired's gonna walk forward. Sweeper is active. He'll see the silhouette of Blaber, who throws the cask over the wall. Blaber is level 4, Inspired is level 3, but it's Jojo who's got mid lane control.
Yep. But it is, you know, that dangerous move to actually look for there because you are down a level. He's going for the all-in.
Big crit. The Ghost ready to follow up. Jojo's in some trouble, and Emenes chops him over the head. First blood, solo kill, Cloud9 mid laner.
Knocks him out of the air there. He was actually in that Shadow and Bound, tried to take it back, but just gets chopped down on the snapback. And that's a death after TP, by the way, which is devastating there. Because the wave is actually not fully dead. So his wave is going to group and push back to his opponent. That is really, really rough here. Jojo was up the level, but Emenes does get that level up, and let's see what actually prompted here. backstep there. There he goes in for that spin and slash, gets the crit, and he says, yep, I'm committing to it. 2 crits on that all-in. Jojo has got to be frustrated about that one. If he doesn't get that initial crit, I don't even think he looks for the all-in, to be honest with you.
He does.
There's no way.
I don't think at all.
And it's low commitment, though, right? You go in, you look for it, oh, get the crit, going in. If he hadn't got the crit, it's not like he's forced to take that all-in. He just backs it right back out. So Emenes kind of showcasing what is honestly just some of the RNG nature of these types of matchups. With Tryndamere, you get that early crit, puts him in position to win, and even that second crit, I don't know if he gets the kill if he doesn't get that. Oh, this is bad.
Oh no, Jojo could be in so much trouble here. Emenes has ulti. Does he even have to use it? Nope, he just pops the heal from his Fury. This is a nightmare situation for Jojo and EG.
Yeah, that is looking so bad. I mean, everything is just kind of snowballing out of control at this point. Jojo's early TP into getting solo killed kind of off that RNG crit. Then immediately ganked there by Blaber. The flash committed. They double flash on him. They kill him under the tower. You force no ulti. You're way down in XP. Your wave sucks. They're taking the dragon. It is really tough from this position. Inspired's not going to really be able to find a way in. Because bot lane Prio was C9's from that position. So C9 out to a truly incredible start. It's really hard to imagine how it could have gotten much better for him.
Inspired wanted to try to see if maybe you can throw the Spiderling in there. Blaber smites it, and you manage to steal it by luck. That's about all you can get. Blaber will move up in mid lane to freeze the wave, or at least buy it a little bit more time away from the turret. Jojo tries to force him off. Berserker pops the cleanse bottom lane, but now Vulcan might be in a little bit of trouble as they fire back. Both supports at about half HP. Heal and Ignite used by EG, only the cleanse from C9.
Yeah, it is an extra summoner used by EG, but they also have a pretty solid HP advantage. Berserker also so I assume that C9 is going to go back to base on this wave here. It is a cannon wave, so it will take longer to push in, but the fact that it's actually on Infernum, and I think there's a Relic Shield charge there. Yeah, so he's just going to dematerialize the cannon, which means now you don't get to base. Without that cannon there to delay the push in, you just would lose too much. They would lose that full wave, even with the cannon actually taking so many tower shots to die when they get it pushed in that quick. And so that's why I really do love the intelligent usage there of that dematerializer. Not just spamming out for no reason. They get an advantageous trade, they get the HP advantage, and then they use it to mess up the base timing of their opponents. And that's a kind of additional layer of thinking that you really want to see from your top level teams.
And they're going to need to do that to make up for the advantage their opponents have built back here in the mid lane, with Emenes getting off to this nice start with the Tryndamere. Of course, Jojo still doing just fine in the farm department. Yeah. He does actually still have more CS than his opponent. A big part of that is having teleport. It just makes it so much easier to not lose out on those resources. But Inspired's looking for a dive here in bottom lane. Elise is so good at this. Double flash away from the cocoon. Keeps Berserker and Zven alive. But this is Aphelios with White Gun at the turret, plates available. C9 not feeling great about the bottom side. EG's looking good down here.
And Berserker still can't base because the wave is still absolutely messed up, right? Like it's still a brutal wave. If he actually leaves there, he loses the full wave, so he's stuck in this situation where he really does not want to be. He will be able to farm up this wave. The gold is about even, but he's going to be on 0 sums with flash available on the Thresh. That is actually so dangerous. If you have no cleanse, you call the Elise back down to bot. If the wave is pushing out, all of a sudden Thresh flashes in, flays you up, throws the lantern to Elise, and you really got no way out of that. So gonna have to be really careful for these next couple minutes until at the very least he has his cleanse back. But Aphelios is gonna be feeling really good about his situation, and especially with this new popularized BT Rush build. Lucian Nami in the early game, they're not really looking for an all-in, right? They're actually looking to poke and prod and slowly chip away at you with these Qs through minions, with these quick trades. But that just doesn't work when someone has sustain this early on in the game. You can't actually get that kind of grind them out style of win in the 2v2. So they're gonna need jungle help, honestly, to really be able to, I think, keep up pressure.
Now let's see if Inspired can make anything happen down here again, because Jojo's also looking for a potential roam bottom. EG are saying they want to invest more into this bottom lane already. You can see it was Cloud9 taking the Herald on the other side of the map, just trying to say, all right, if you want to take bot side, we'll give it to you. We're going to have Berserker and Zven absorb that pressure and try to make a play elsewhere.
And the tough thing for Blaber, in that situation is it's like, okay, a lot of times, if bot lane's going bad, you'd be like, just play towards top or whatever, right? But like that's not really a lane you want to get involved in when it's tank versus tank.
Right.
They can look towards Jojo, but especially post 6, Yone can be pretty difficult to actually lock down and be able to take him out. Emenes here though, moving down towards bot side, even if it just is this little move to clear out some vision. it does make them play a lot more respectfully. It makes them a little bit nervous in that situation, you know, knowing that they don't necessarily have that same level of coverage.
And hey, the gold lead is pretty much just the value of those couple of kills for Cloud9, so it's not like those Tryndamere advantages from earlier have really exploded into a lot else at this time. FBI and Vulcan being the ones who are able to get ahead down here on the bottom side also feels great just because of what we already talked about with Lucian, Nami sort of falling off a cliff if they can't keep pace with the game.
And Yone scales incredibly well, so, you know, as long as Jojo is not in a situation where he can't get farm, is not in a situation where the game is getting snowballed out of control on him, he's honestly kind of fine. You know, he can continue to farm. He's not going to be looking for any all-ins in a 1v1 or anything like that, but he keeps farming it up. He's going to be in a decent spot. You know, sure, there's going to be things he could have played differently to avoid that initial kill, but let's be honest, you know, the crit probably made the difference in that all-in. That is a little bit of bad luck. Then a great play from Blaber kind of really slammed home that lead. But credit to Jojo for not really falling out of the matchup completely, for being able to keep his farm up, and for doing things like this. It's one of the nice things about Yone in a losing matchup, or when you fall behind, is you can use that Soul Unbound to just jump forward, clear out a wave very quickly, snap back. It allows you to do that, you know, with relative safety, even when they are playing around.
We have the Herald summoned up here in mid.
And Elise's bot, so it's
just
crash.
Get the charge out of that. Yeah, it should just get a couple of plates here. And then Jojo's going to be forced back by Emenes, who still is not afraid of stepping up and fighting in here. Meanwhile, bottom side, Berserker just gets absolutely dunked on. FBI taking the kill credit is perfect for Evil Geniuses as well. Blaber's coming down, but Zven's already dead. Vulcan lands the fishing hook to guarantee it. Back in mid, things are looking all right for C9, but bottom lane is coming up all EG all the time, and the gold is back to tie. Jojo wants to go in for Emenes, but he's ready to fight back now too. Jojo gets back away, but he forced out the ult, and that's exactly what he wanted to do.
And Jojo still has his own ult, so Emenes actually has to play a little bit respectfully here. It can get pretty dangerous. EG gonna be taking a dragon up there. Almost see if Blaber can steal. No, he cannot.
I like the attempt. Of course, sliding over the wall without a blast cone meant he had to flash back over. He was alone in a 1v3. There was no way that was gonna end nice if he didn't.
I think it's worth the attempt in this situation because they had taken such an early first dragon. If you can get that second one very early on, you can really start to threaten that snowball towards Soul. So I do like the attempt, but it's a great repeat down towards bot. You know, Inspired got down there, forced both the flashes. That's what they had to look for. And even just the layering of skills there from Vulcan were really, really nice. You know, we're going to watch it. Watch how he actually starts out with the hook, and when that's cleansed, he just immediately flash plays in on top of him. So there's not really any way out of this. It's a very quick cleanse, but flash, play on that dash out, no shot for him to get out. Just really expertly played there by Vulcan. Then backstepping on the bubble, gets in range, lands another hook, unfortunately gets the kill with it. But Vulcan setting that up beautifully.
Up here on the top side, worth pointing out, Ssumday started off with a Sunfire Cape, very similar to what we were talking about earlier. Sunfire Cape Iceborne feels great for K'Sante, specifically against this team comp. Fudge going for the Heart Steal, just wanting to really lean into the full HP stacking, the scaling potential of the Sion. If this one goes 45 minutes like TSM and Immortals did, this Sion can hit 6,000 HP, 7,000 HP, something along those lines. Both junglers are topside. Inspired's the target for Blaber here initially, but Ssumday might be where he wants to focus after. Inspired fires off the cocoon, but nothing else to happen from it. Blaber did not have explosive cast back up and ready, so there wasn't a real play to be made there. Berserker landing a lot of damage on Jojo! Gets him through flash!
Nicely done. Berserker just getting so aggressive there. You know, Jojo just didn't want to spend the ultimate. I think he thought he could get out of that situation without just committing it. You know, had the W hit down there, was trying to actually zone back Berserker with his Qs. Wasn't able to do it whatsoever. And then by the time he actually realizes he is in trouble, Berserker's right on top of him there with that Gale Force. And then sure, you flash, but the flash is there to follow. It's just a great kill there from Berserker, punishing Jojo for the greed of not being willing to commit his ult in defense. And we can watch it one more time here. Berserker looking to try to go for this play, has the W into the ulti there, taking so much damage, and then going back, Gale Force to actually follow that up. The Q flash just barely connects, because even though he flashes, the Q is still going in that line. He would have had to flash over to the side a little bit, I think, to try to dodge out on that.
Because remember, Piercing Light has a farther damage range than target acquisition range. So flashing in a straight line can often end you in those difficult problems. And this is one of those things that we were talking about. Joju's playing from home. He's not feeling full health here. He's under the weather. And this is one of those things where even just a little bit of that brain fog, just a little bit of that not fully being aware of the situation can end up costing you pretty big.
Absolutely. I mean, it is tough. JoJo's obviously making some mistakes in this one, getting punished for it, but it is also feeling under the weather. So, a little bit hard to kind of give that full level of criticism that you'd normally want to give.
Exactly.
But, EG's bot lane doing very well. Elise getting down there really has helped out a lot. So FBI is still in a great spot, and we'll see what they can do moving forward in the rest of this game.
And you want to see Fudge try to get as many of these Heartsteel trades as he can against Ssumday early on. That's the whole point of the item, try to stack it up, maximize that HP. EG thinking about maybe diving Berserker and Zven underneath this tier 1 turret. They know that Emenes is nearby over on the other side of the red because they start clearing the ward, and they see Blaber on the red too. So EG, they want to bring Vulcan down. They're thinking about just killing the jungler. He's going to be right there in the way of the cocoon. He takes the red with him, but Jojo is going to be the one securing it there with the kill. They fire off the Nami wave, but it won't matter. Nice patience, nice plan from EG.
Yeah, really good patience there. I think a lot of people would have kind of pulled the trigger too early on that play. They see Emenes, maybe they just try to go push him off or something like that. But they waited and they spotted Blaber coming over on that blast cone. Blaber, you can't blame him for thinking he's safe. Emenes literally just walked around to the top of that red brush. Yeah. And they have people in mid lane right beside him. You're thinking the jungle is pretty safe and secure, but they had actually snuck in there, able to set it up with that cocoon. Yone out there to follow it up. Thresh hook there to follow it up. Everything available, and they do get a kill for Jojo. And that means he finishes his mythic, so right back into the game now is EG's mid laner.
And I like the fact that he's just going for Immortal Shield Bow completed first. Sometimes we see Yone's just go for the non-mythic item first.
Yeah.
Blade of the Ruined King used to be the hotness. Sometimes they'll go for something a little bit different flavored, but especially with him not having a stellar early game, I think just getting the extra survivability, the extra sustain is the right way to guarantee that he can keep farming up, like you were talking about earlier, and become that late game.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're going to be getting pressured, there's some safety there with that proc. You can see Cloud9's remaining opponents. Expected wins potentially against Immortals, but TL looking a bit better. CLG, could be a tough opponent, and FlyQuest, is still at top of the table currently. So are some tough ones they have to go against. Emenes getting aggressive. He's gonna go.
Oh, it's the Gale Force, and again, it's Jojo not respecting the damage output of the Tryndamere. He tried to escape with the ulti, but it was too late.
Yeah.
Emenes gets the solo kill.
He's gotta be willing to use those ultimates earlier. He's just not respecting these all-ins, but Berserker in trouble.
Berserker may be the one getting all in now. That Spiderling eats a lot of the culling, and Berserker's still fine. You can see that he did use the cleanse to get away there. But the victory in the bottom lane with Emenes over Jojo means C9 has control over the bottom half of Summoner's Rift, which means Blaber is going to grab the second Drake of the game for Cloud9.
Yep, going to be able to grab another dragon, feeling really good about their position now. And it is, of course, that Gale Force has been completed for a while for Emenes. Was kind of what I was expecting. This is the build that we had been seeing a lot from pros around Worlds last year. When Tryndamere mid was popping up a lot in scrims and in solo queue and everything prior to Worlds. And it's a build that allows you to really get in on that back line. If you flash E on top of someone like FBI and all of a sudden he flashes out, you have that Gale Force to close the gap and get right back in on top of him. So it's going to be up to guys like Vulcan, Inspired, and Ssumday on this Ssumday to be able to try to peel this Tryndamere off of FBI, because he is going to be the primary target for pretty much everyone on C9.
And I really do like the Gale Force in pro play just because your opponents are so good at minimizing your DPS uptime. I mean, if you're playing top lane Tryndamere against Johnny Meatball in solo queue, build Kraken Slayer, maximize the damage.
Slap him up.
Chop him to pieces. But here, every split second that you're able to deal damage, you want to be dealing that damage. I'm always a fan of this build. It's flashier, it gives outplay potential, and at 3-0, Emenes has some weight on his shoulders to be carrying this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, let's be honest, in modern day pro play, when's the last time you really saw games ended through side lanes? It's very rare that a true split push win condition is available. So, it is about those team fights. They're going to try to chunk Emenes here, but Jojo, again, you got to be careful.
Yeah, Emenes is not afraid to fight back. Blaber's coming in to see about a follow-up, but he's just a couple of seconds too late to be able to really look for anything there with an explosive cast, try to knock somebody back over into Emenes' range. So C9 disengage back after that one. Tryndamere, especially with a Nami right next to him to give him some bonus healing too, can just easily restore all the health back.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna be looking to just heal him right back up. This Gale Force into just straight up rapid fire from Berserker. So Berserker just gonna be looking to kind of poke and prod every time the rapid fire is up. Look for those chunks, look for those little bits of damage that you can land. It's always a little bit scary when a Tryndamere gets this far ahead because he can threaten the 100-0 under a tower. You know, if you misplay, if you use, especially your Soul Unbound, don't have that mobility to actually avoid some of the damage when he's in that ultimate looking for that dive. Can be really, really difficult. And that's why we see so many EG members have been hovering up around topside, trying to cover every time the wave gets up there. We saw, again, Inspired Vulcan back up to topside, trying to cover, because this is a scary spot right now for Jojo, especially if someone else shows up. He could really be under pressure.
And with Fudge on our screens right now, going to do a quick update. The Heartsteel currently has 266 stacks after that last auto attack onto Ssumday, and the Soul Furnace up to 888 as the bonus HP there on the W. So between those two items, he's currently sitting on about 1,100 bonus health.
Yeah.
For free.
I mean, he's above 4,000 health already, right?
Yeah.
And we are 20 minutes into the game with one item completed. So that is going to be that brick wall that they have to deal with. And that's why it's going to be so important for FBI to be able to free fire. But one of the difficulties in a comp like this, you could say, well, Azael, Aphelios has really high damage. You know, surely he's going to be able to kill that Sion, but the problem becomes you're going to have a Tryndamere running straight at you in every fight. Yeah. So it's really hard to actually find time to be able to maximize DPS and to be able to kind of create that space for the Aphelios to really be able to deal with them. But it basically has to be him. No one else on EG is going to be able to threaten the Sion. So it's going to be incredibly important for Vulcan and the rest of the team to keep FBI free.
They were waiting on Emenes to come over that wall. As soon as he spun, Inspired was ready with the cocoon to stop him in his tracks, but they didn't even have the damage to burst him down to the ult. You know you're never killing him there, but if you can get his ult, hey, you can stop him from being as aggressive in the side lane for the next minute and a half. Unfortunately, he's right back into the lane. He's right back to healing up. He doesn't have any actual lifesteal items yet, so he still can't go from 1/4 HP all the way back to full, but he will be back to full after just a couple waves.
Yeah, absolutely. You just keep really filling that rage bar, keep healing up with Q. He's got the Navori already done, so that is so good. That is where it becomes really dangerous to actually play against Tryndamere in a side lane, because all of a sudden, you know, he's getting that mobility back constantly. You know, he's being able to stick on you so much more effectively, and that's where it becomes really, really tough. You know, he completed that early Zeal. It's just a super effective item here, you know, in that early laning phase, both for Yone and for Tryndamere, honestly. But you talked about it, Jojo was behind the curve of the game, felt like he needs to kind of rush that Mythic, which I think is fine.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where going for a non-completed item ball of stats feels really good as long as you're at least on pace in the game. But once you're behind, losing the Mythic power spike, I mean, the Immortal Shield Bow could be the difference between life and death for some.
Absolutely.
Right? So I understand Jojo not wanting to go for an early Zeal or something like that. I also understand Jojo saying, guys, look, you're on your own. If they take Dragon, they take Dragon. I need to scale in this side lane. I got to catch up here a little bit. Jojo should be able to cut down the last little bit of this tier 1 turret. Yes, he will. Fudge, having completed his Sunfire Cape, remember that Sunfire Cape scales off of max HP now with the AoE aura? That's why it's always fun to compare the damage on Sion when he has it to anybody else's.
Yeah.
79 and rising as, remember, you stay in combat, it ramps up. FBI is eating a whole lot of damage from calling there, but managed to disengage a good chunk of it. 98 damage per tick from that Sunfire Cape of Fudge, and Jojo has to run from him too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just, it would take him forever to actually get through that Sion.
There's just
no way he's going to win that 1v1 at this point in the game. He's just too far behind. Oh, they force the cleanse. Nice cocoon over the wall. That is actually pretty big to be able to get that out. It's going to be tough. You know, when you look kind of on the other side, you're thinking about how these two teams want to play it out, how the ADs are going to be dove, they are going to be focused. And that's true, I think, as well for Berserker. But the luxury the C9 have is that their Tryndamere is just giga-fed. So, you know, if they're actually diving in onto the Lucian and you're giving free time to Emenes, he can win you the fight by himself.
Vulcan forced to flash away there as C9 looked for the opportunity to make a pick. And yeah, if they want to start up Baron, like, you have Tryndamere. Even if Lucian's mid lane, he can just keep on farming. Jojo, Inspired, and the rest of EG, however, are aware that something's going on here, so that does mean the Cloud9's Baron attempt is going to get stopped for now. Fudge is once again just on side lane duty. Continue to farm up, continue to clear the waves. He can join up with an Unleashed Teleport if he needs to. It's just up to his team to not get bursted down before he arrives, if that's the case. Emenes is spinning away as he realizes Jojo has backup, and the Tryndamere just goes right back to farming mid.
Yep, absolutely. FBI now going to be working towards that IE, and that is going to be the really big spike for him. Jojo likely going towards that IE as well. So he will at least have some backline threat, you know, once he does complete that. I don't think we're ever going to get to the point in this game where he can really kind of threaten the Tryndamere in the 1v1, but Inspired could actually be dead here straight up. Can he get out? Okay. Oh, that ward actually gave him an exit. It looked like he actually was able to repel to that blue trinket that was thrown over the wall. So potentially a bit of a mistake there. I think that's what actually happened.
I'm not 100% sure. I didn't see specifically when he landed, but he is
I didn't see anything else that he could repel to, unless there was a lantern that had missed, because I think the lantern came down after he was over the wall.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if we had a slowed down replay later on that's happening. Well, wait, never mind. We have it right now. Let's take a look.
Yeah, because I don't think you can actually go to the blast cone if the blast cone hasn't spawned yet, right? Like,
there needs to be something there.
So he repelled. They put down the trinket, and yeah, he just repels to it.
And that's what lets him land. Watch the spider fall.
Yeah, so they just mess it up. Like, I think that I understand the thought process. Someone's about to go over the wall, and you're like, I gotta get vision over the wall. Maybe they're expecting him to flash over the wall, you know? But in this case, unfortunately, they gave him an easy exit, and he didn't have to use his flash.
It might have been thinking the blast cone is up.
Oh, true.
He's going to land on the blast cone. We need to see where he lands to hit him before he can take it. But unfortunately, with the blast cone still down, it just ended up providing an escape for Inspired without having to spend the flash. Evil Geniuses will be very happy about that.
Yeah.
We're still fighting a bit of an uphill battle here in everywhere except the marksman and support positions. Jojo 1-4 here on the Yone. Inspired's been having a pretty solid game on the Elise, 0-0 and 3. He's been a part of getting that bottom lane ahead. Emenes is going to sidestep the cocoon.
I mean, the thing is, it's not an enormous gold lead, but the tempo and the pace of the game, everything is really favoring Cloud9. And they have been the ones, you can chunk him, but you can't take that in. He just ults and kills you. The problem is that it's sole point, right? You know, pretty early on into the game here, Cloud9 are going to be able to potentially threaten that. So EG have got to be able to try to get themselves in a spot where they can actually team fight. And I think, yeah, there's absolutely no shot that FBI actually finishes IE. He's got about 1,000 gold in pocket, so he's going to have, like, the BF. Oh, Berserker, though, just looking for a kill.
Man, Berserker just dumping the culling into Vulcan, taking 2/3 of the Evil Geniuses support HP away. Means Cloud9 again is going to look to have control over the enemy jungle. Nice job from Jojo there using the ulti to force the flash out of Zven. That means the Nami is going to be a potential vulnerable target here in 75 seconds. When the dragon spawns, it'll be Soul if C9 gets it.
Yeah, and Jojo will have his ult just about as it's spawning, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal for him. But yeah, I just think it's such a big deal that FBI will not actually have IE for this fight. There's no shot he's gonna be able to finish that. Ssumday could be in some trouble here.
Ssumday getting caught out. 0-0-0 so far in this game for both top laners. Ssumday continues to live. They can't finish him off in time, but Blaber just kills Inspired off to the side instead. Remember that Jojo has no ulti. It might be ready in time for the dragon, but it ain't ready now. He's able to get the Q3 back.
FBI is isolated.
FBI is alone. A virtual rise. They shut him down, and C9 gets 2.
C9's gonna take Baron. They're gonna get Baron here, no problem, I think, with all of those kills. EG all tried to funnel in to bail out Ssumday, who ended up actually being able to survive on his own. And they just kind of get caught out in transition. People coming from different angles. You're not considering who they might be running into on the way over. There's no chance to steal this. And Dragon hadn't already spawned. There was no chance of a trade either. So this is kind of C9. It feels like putting a bit of a bow on it. They are so far ahead now and basically have everything they need to try to be able to close this one out. Gonna even TP back out on the map here, make sure that there's no way Dragon can be stolen away from this. So we can watch this one more time. Great CC layering there onto the Cassante, but somebody's able to get out. But look at Inspired walking in here and then just flash in. Body slam flash, full combos him is Blaber. FBI trying to come in behind to help. Gale Force is straight in, but then look who's behind you. It's Emenes coming in from the top side. And he doesn't waste his flash because there's no way out, right? Emenes isn't even using his E, and he's on the other side of you, and now Zven could be in some trouble, but no. Jojo gets CC.
Yeah, Jojo just had no business being there. He thought he saw a way, maybe getting back into the game. He's saying, all right, we're so far behind. We got to throw a Hail Mary. We got to get something. He tried. Unfortunately, it doesn't come up with anything good for him. Zven just baits him into another death. 1-5 here on the Yone. C9 5v4 for the next 30 seconds.
It's just about the world's strongest 0-0-0 Sion at this point.
Yeah.
And he's at 5,400 health now with a Cloud Soul. There was already almost no chance they could ever kill him. Excuse me, Ocean Soul. The regen going to be so enormous at this point. Nice little sidestep from Blaber, and they're going to look.
Emenes will lead the charge as long as he has that ulti and he's ready to use it. He's in no danger. They're finally going to be propped. So now he'll try to get away. Emenes, complete disengage. 200 or 300 HP remaining. Blaber's in the middle, but now he goes golden to buy himself an extra moment. Zven fires the bubble at Blaber to give him some extra movement speed and help him get away, and Fudge has joined the fight. They find the knock-up onto Inspired, who tries to flash out, but a little bit more damage takes him down, and Emenes is the one to do it. Evil Geniuses get scattered by the Gragas ulti, and they try to regroup, but the culling is once again ready to be unloaded. Blaber looks for more chances to zone these guys off. Ssumday gets caught up again. Might just die this time, but it looks like once more he'll escape. But the Nexus is now about to be focused. EG on their last little bit of a defense. Jojo jumps in. What can he find? He's trying to get something. The rest of EG want to stand and fight. They grab a shutdown over on the Berserker. Fudge is still alive. Blaber's waddling away. They shut down the Sion, but what about the dead body? He's got a lot of HP. He's just going to stand there and beat Jojo to death. Just barely misses out on it. EG holds on with 1/3 of a Nexus.
That's not going to be much, though. Their base absolutely in shambles. They do hold the door here, but really at what cost at this point? It is so difficult to really see a way back into this game, and you can see the ward is going to be covered, is going to be swept out. TP wasn't even available for Fudge, so unlikely that we would see a Sion backdoor regardless. But Cloud9 are in such an incredible spot at this point. We can see it one more time. Emenes just getting very, very aggressive, trying to just kind of close out the game here, looking for an angle to get a kill onto FBI. But this can be that difficulty when there is a lot of CC. You can see him, really struggling to actually connect with his target. He gets played out, he gets hooked up, he's through the box. He's getting actually flung prior to that as well by Cassante. So not really able to connect. And then Blaber going in a bit aggressive, has to actually spend the stopwatch. And it's Cloud9, just playing with a lot of confidence because of the position in the game. Sion moving forward, even flashing forward here, trying to get the kill, flashing over that hook, looking to try to finish off Inspired, and they do get him, but it's Emenes rejoining the fight now without his ulti, so can't really continue forward. And then all of a sudden, Fudge is hooked under, and they're gonna go again.
We're right back to live, and EG is on the defensive. Vulcan's the one here on the front, soaking most damage, and Berserker's getting it all done. Jojo wants to use the ulti into the middle. He finds a kill. He wants to get a little bit more with the Q3, connecting to the Berserker. Fudge is still in the middle of everyone, but Emenes died with the ulti up. Cloud9 and their mid laners with Tryndamere ultis. I'm having flashbacks. I'm sorry, Perks. I didn't mean to do that to you, but I had to. It's C9 again, not being able to close.
That Perks catching a stray, but it's Cloud9 who gets stopped again. And with every successive defense there from EG, you start to build up that small bit of hope. Cloud9 do want to clean it up a bit. I think they're just getting a bit too aggressive here. Not actually playing out the map. There's no reason to try to just straight up 5v5. You can just play through sides. You've got a heavily winding Tryndamere. Just go through that side lane there. Instead, they're just trying to run it down mid with all 5 and close out this game here. Vulcan gets killed off very early, but it is Emenes in that back line who's just straight up burst out. Didn't get the ulti off in time. And then all of a sudden, Berserker's pushed back. We're just going right back to live, so nothing gonna happen there. But yeah, I just want to see Cloud9 close it out playing through sides. You can just put Tryndamere top before mid. You have multiple pushing lanes with the supers, pressure that top lane inhibitor, close out the game very, very cleanly in that way.
Yeah,
is what we really want to see here from Cloud9. Because anytime Elder gets on the table, Elder is kind of that great equalizer. Do I think EG is going to win from this decision? No, I don't. But if they're able to steal away an Elder, all of a sudden your gold league doesn't really matter anymore. The Elder is more than enough to kind of equalize in these situations. So you do get that little bit of nerves after a couple messy fights here from Cloud9. They got to clean it up and close this one out.
The Elder spawning doesn't necessarily mean EG wins, but the only way EG wins is the Elder spawn.
Exactly. And getting it too. They've got to be able to steal it. It's an absolute Hail Mary, but
Fudge has like 7,000 health. The shield's got to be worth like 1.5k at this point. I don't know, man. Sion is a tough cookie to get through.
That's
and
true.
C9 is going to have him front lighting, leading the charge. Elixir of Iron, purchased up. You know that they want to end the game fast. They're buying the elixirs. What kind of information do you have for me, Mr.
Between Heartsteel and his Soul Furnace HP, he's got basically 24, almost 2,500 bonus health for free off of those. So
all right.
He is absolutely a brick wall. They're going to be starting up this Baron, and I do like this. Really difficult for EG to make their way in. Sion is just bodyguarding. They can't commit to him, and the Baron is just going to be gone.
Yeah, there's no way you can ever commit onto that Sion. Emenes looking for the opportunity to get the flank here, but Ssumday's also gonna block him away. Jojo's taken very low, but he's not dead yet. He's still trying to get out. Emenes wants to change that. He goes in. The Gale Force is not quite able to find the kill, but Fudge is occupying everybody else in the meantime. Zven grabs the kill on Jojo. Ssumday's gonna tank in the front. Emenes gets one on Vulcan. Fudge taking the credit at the end, but Inspired and FBI are left to run. Ssumday wants to solo out Blaber, but Zven's gonna keep him alive. Ssumday still trying to chase his way back in the fight, but FBI is shut down, and C9 finally marches to victory.
They're gonna take it. FBI could not get through the Sion. They still got 6,000 health left. What are you supposed to do about it?
I think they healed him there by the end. C9, the man on your screen right there, it's Emenes. He got solo kills on Jojo multiple times throughout this game. That first one with the 2 crits caught Jojo off guard, and it just kept snowballing from there.
Yeah, able to play it out really, really well. And the wins for Emenes keep on coming. On the Cloud9 main roster has been looking really, really good. Now moving to 3-1, 3 straight wins for him. The only loss being his debut game on the Victor, but it has been multiple games. So actually, excuse me, 4 wins in a row now. 2 LeBlanc wins and 2 Yone wins. Yeah. So on these aggressive champions has been bringing kind of a new dynamic. You know, and really getting aggressive with it. It's fun to see.
If you want to win, don't play Victor. Give me something spicy. Give me some playmaking. There's some guys that you just always want to see them on playmakers. We talked about in game number 1 with Papa Smithy and Spawn how, to me at least, Core JJ is always one of the players who defines that idea. Yeah, he's not bad on enchanters, but all of my greatest moments with him are on engagers, on playmakers. And Emenes so far, yeah, he played Victor. You can play control mage and clear waves, but I love seeing this guy on champions that he can say, I'm going. Isaac, it's time for you to go on down to the stage and get ready to do the post-game interview for the victorious C9. So that means I'm going to stand here and say some more stuff. Now, unfortunately, Skarner wasn't in that game, so I don't have anything analytical to comment. But what I do have is an update on the standings. Because of the fact of what we talked about before that game, the outcome was guaranteed to be a tie no matter what. However, the tie that happened was Cloud9 and FlyQuest tying for first. If EG would have won, they would have tied Cloud9 at second, but C9's victory there puts him in a great spot with 4 left to play here in the split. EG's gonna drop down to 9-5, which means Golden Guardians, who play next, if they take down 100 Thieves, they can then tie EG for third. The race at the top is getting pretty close. Evil Geniuses, I think it's understandable what happened here today. Jojo looked like the weak link, but again, Jojo's not feeling so great. He had to play remote. These things can factor in incredibly heavily. I think you've got to always keep that in consideration when you're thinking about the outcome of the game. Props to Emenes for playing it like he did, aggressive on the Tryndamere. I liked what we got out of EG in the bottom lane with FBI and Vulcan working together, doing a good job to try to build up some sort of a win condition there with Aphelios. Unfortunately, 2 tanks were just beating the hell out of each other in top lane the whole time. And when that happens and one of them buys Heartsteel, that one ends up with 2,500 health, more than the other one. So Ssumday was not able to be the same level of a brick wall that Fudge was. And then it came down to, you know, there was a couple happy moments, maybe a little bit too much joy in Cloud9's first couple of ending attempts, thinking they could just force it down. EG tried to hold on. They did whatever they could, but it was C9's advantage that proved too much. The Elder didn't end up being the factor. It was around the Baron. It was the flank coming in. Jojo barely getting away. Emenes swooping in from behind to finish him off and make sure they got the kill that they were looking for. I'm running out of stuff to say. The standings are still there on your screen, so in case you forgot them from before, we're checking them out now. And hey, I got another reminder for you. We are officially live with tickets for the LCS Spring Final in Raleigh, North Carolina on April 8th and April 9th. You can head to Ticketmaster.com right now to claim your spot, and hopefully we will see you there. Road shows, there's just nothing like them, man. Last year, we went to Houston in spring. We went to Chicago in the summer. Both of those were 2 of the best road shows the LCS has ever had. Fans who went loved them. So hopefully we'll be able to see you in Raleigh at the PNC Arena, April 8th, April 9th. That's about, wait, what day is it? It's March 9th right now. So that is exactly 1 month from the LCS Spring Finals on the day here today at the LCS Arena with 4 days left to play in the regular season. We've still got tomorrow. Remember that next week is a Super Week. First time around, it was hard to get used to. We're already on new days to begin with. However, Super Week now means Wednesday games. So next week on Wednesday, get your butt here and get ready for some Super Week. But don't get your butt anywhere else first, because we also got more stuff coming up tomorrow. And also now we got more stuff up. Ugh, I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long day. There's a lot of pauses. We got more stuff coming up right behind me as we join Azael and Emenes on stage for the Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you very much, Flowers. Sorry about making you do some more, Phil, but I am here with Emenes coming off of a huge win that actually puts you now tied for first place in the LCS. How does it feel to be coming into Cloud9 and having so much success right away?
I'm just so happy.
How did you feel, bringing in the Tryndamere pick today? Is that something that you guys have been practicing? Is it something that, was specific to playing against Jojopyun? Because we haven't really been seeing much Tryndamere in the LCS at all.
To be honest, like last year when I was in Korea, when I tried to climb rank 1 in Korea, my Tryndamere win rate was 80%.
Oh, wow.
And like 20 games. So I had the confidence with Tryndamere. So in Scream, like I'm just asking, like, can I play this? The team just say, yeah, sure. And like this game, and then we win. And today, like I didn't say Tryndamere, but someone say, do you want to pick Tryndamere? Then I say, of course.
That's awesome. So
yeah.
How does it feel now? Obviously, you've been playing with the Cloud9 main roster for a couple weeks. To have a team that kind of has that confidence in you, because you're known as a player who wants to play really aggressive, who wants to play these picks that are maybe a little bit different than what everyone else is playing in the LCS. You're known for your Blanc and now for your Tryndamere. Does that kind of give you more confidence in yourself that your team is okay with you playing these and believes that you can execute on them?
Like, at first, Blaber and Mythic keep make me confidence. Like even sometimes I got behind in scrims. They just keep saying, "We believe you. You have really good talent. So keep play what you want." And so I could trust myself in scrim. So I think this made me good performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've been playing incredibly well. I think people have really been enjoying, how aggressively you've been playing on stage and how much confidence you've brought to this LCS roster. So now that you guys are tied, for first place, do you start looking forward to playoffs? Do you start looking forward to your next goal, to winning a championship potentially? What is your kind of focus for the season right now?
I really want to make great goal in Worlds, because like this year Worlds will be starting playing in Korea. So this year is really important for me. So I want to make semi-final or quarter-final, grand final in this year. So like every day, like I don't have time, like I don't have enough time. So I want to make time this useful for this year.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Emenes. Congratulations on the win. Cloud9 now tied at the top of the table. We're going to send it to the LCS Lounge, I believe. And we have got 100 Thieves and GG coming up next.